You're watching CBS7 News at 9 on the CW and live on the CBS7 YouTube channel with Alexandra, Macia, and Tom Teeperteller.
It's with regret, and I'll carry on, and the board can carry on with their issues. And if they ask me anything, I'll still be around. You can call me consultant or whichever one you want to, but in reality, I'm not going anywhere. I'll still be helping ECUD for years to come, I hope.
Tommy Irvin has officially resigned from his position as the Ector County Utility District President. Coming up in just a few minutes, we've got more from Irvin, as well as comments from concerned citizens and a board member. Good evening, and thanks for joining us for CBS7 News on the CW, and thanks for joining us live on the CBS7 YouTube. I'm Alexandra, Macia. We start tonight with election coverage. The largest school bond in West Texas passed last night as Midland residents voted for the $1.4 billion proposition. This would bring improvements to the school district's infrastructure and add schools for the growing population. Now that the bond has passed, Midland ISD can begin to work on making sure everything on Prop A is running smoothly. One of the first things that will come next week is the school district assigning a bond program manager to oversee the plans for the construction, upgrades, security measures, and more. The new schools that are going to be built already have an expected date.
So you can anticipate safety and security and improvements to aging facilities to start taking place right away. And then in 2025, like I said, the elementary school will open, and in 2028, grade reconfiguration and the two new high schools will open up.
White says many MISD staff were excited to be able to get to work and improve Midland ISD for the future students. And another main ballot item for Midland was the MISD District 7 board election. Brian Murray and Josh Gwynn battled it out, with Murray taking the victory. Murray was previously the MISD board president, but he had to resign so his sons could work for the district. Last night, he said he's looking forward to continued work with Superintendent Stephanie Howard. Murray says the state nepotism law that caused him to resign requires that he be off the board for 6 months. By the time he takes the position in January, he will be beyond that time. And Greenwood ISD's Proposition A and B passed last night after the community voted against a bond in 2021. That bond would have built a new intermediate school, but it failed 60% to 40%. According to Greenwood's superintendent, the district worked hard to listen to the Greenwood community to come up with a solution for students.
Well, we've continued to have a very fast growth rate out here. We've probably got near 50 portable classrooms right now. And so to get our kids out of portables and into safer, permanent buildings will be a great asset.
The bond will allow Greenwood to build a student event center with a 2,000-seat gym, a 2,000-seat theater, and an indoor workout facility. Superintendent Elliott says the district has already started working to make the bonds a reality in the next few years. And in Odessa last night, Prop A, the $424 million bond in ECISD passed. This is the first time since 2012 a major bond has passed for the district. Some of the items included in the proposition are new career and technical education center, district-wide maintenance and repairs, a new transition learning center, and a new middle school in West Odessa. Ector County residents were at the ECISD watch party in Odessa and filled the room with cheers. It was a historical moment for not just residents, but also the students in Ector County.
Half of our schools are 61 years of age or older, and so the needs are very significant. This bond will help us take care of those needs, at least for the next 5 years. A new career and technical education facility is exciting. It'll bring new opportunities for kids in our system that need access to those opportunities. Excited about a new middle school for the West. Again, 1,000 students will enter that school, and so we'll have some more elbow room for our middle school students. So nothing but joy tonight for the passage of this bond.
For this year's election in Ector County, 9,858 residents voted out of 82,752 registered voters, which is 12% of eligible voters. And of course, if you missed any of those races or any of the races in your county, you can find it all online. Just visit our website at CBS7.com. And tracking crime now, last night officers with the Upton County Sheriff's Office found a man dead from gunshot wounds. According to the sheriff, deputies were quickly able to find the suspected shooter and arrest them. Upton County Elections Office delayed the release of their results shortly after shots were fired, but it is unclear if the two events are related. The Texas Rangers are now investigating the shooting, and we'll have the full story up on our website along with any updates we get. And it's time to take a look at weather. Chief Meteorologist Tom Teefer-Teller is here to tell us what we can expect. Tom?
Big changes are on the way. This time tomorrow, you're going to need a coat, probably a rain slicker, as we're going to see a cold front and some showers move in with a disturbance. Today, another day near record highs. We did not get to it, but we were up close enough at 88 degrees out of the Middle National Air and Spaceport, 91 in Fort Stockton and Pecos, 92 in McCamey. So there were some hot spots out there this afternoon, but that's all going away. Here's the reason why. You see that cold front really started to change the temperatures here across parts of the Texas Panhandle. It's 51 degrees in Amarillo in comparison to the upper 60s across the Permian Basin. So again, that's going to be whipping down across the area. Also, a few showers are going to be in the forecast. So a chilly, wet day on the way for your Wednesday.
And it is that time of the year again, time for Tom's coats. As the temperatures drop, many West Texans are struggling to stay warm. That's why Chief Meteorologist Tom Teefer-Teller is hosting a coat drive. CBS7 is looking for gently used or new jackets or sweaters for the drive. You can donate jackets and coats at the locations listed on your screen. And like we told you at the top of the show, today the Ector County Utility District Board saw an official resignation from Tommy Irvin, the now former president. The board considered that vacancy inside a meeting room while concerned residents gathered outside, questioning why they weren't allowed to come in. CBS 7's Hannah Brock was at this afternoon's meeting, and she brings us the details. Hannah.
While the residents were barred due to an occupancy limit at the ECUD building on North Moss Avenue, they expressed disappointment that they weren't able to hear about the resignation and vacancy firsthand.
We don't know what happened.
And we came today just like we always do, and we get here and there's a crowd of people standing out front.
They were told there was no more room.
And they have an occupancy sign on the door that says 23 max. Well, that occupancy sign wasn't there last month.
That meant they couldn't hear what happened firsthand. Inside, the board wished Irvin well and voted to postpone choosing someone to fill his place. Irvin's official removal comes after he was given an ultimatum last month. He had to resign or show he was pardoned for a 1975 charge related to dealing cocaine and methamphetamine.
It's with regret, and I'll carry on, and the board can carry on with their issues. And if they ask me anything, I'll still be around. You can call me consultant or whichever one you want to, but in reality, I'm not going anywhere. I'll still be helping ECUD for years to come, I hope.
Outside, the residents called on law enforcement to see if officers could gain them entry. Irvin says the 23 limit was recently decided on by the fire marshal. Next up for the board is reviewing applications, which are open now at a future meeting. Irvin thinks it'll take someone who really cares about West Odessa.
It's really hard for somebody to volunteer to be on this board with a political environment that's out here, because you're going to get attacked. I mean, you're going to get attacked ugly.
Kapoff wants to see his fellow residents run for the presidency, plus 2 board seats that are up for election next year.
I'd like to see some informed and involved residents out here with integrity stand up and raise their hand and run for election and put the right people on this board to set this district straight.
Today's controversy was just one chapter in ECUD's complicated story in recent years.
Just pray for West Odessa. There's a lot of turmoil, and I'm tired of turmoil. I don't want turmoil. I want happiness. I want us to be neighbors again, and I want this to run smoother.
Applications to fill the remainder of Irvin's presidency will be reviewed at the next ECUD board meeting, which typically falls on the third Wednesday of each month. For CBS 7 First Alert News, I'm Hannah Brock.
Thanks, Hannah. Midland Christian football kicker Mason Horton still has his family in Ukraine, so every time he steps on the football field, he dedicates his game to them. His uncle and his aunt were like his parents to him, and they took good care of him when he was a small child. They helped Mason during tough moments while he was growing up in an orphanage in Ukraine.
They were like my mom and dad to me. Since I was in the orphanage, they always came to orphanage and visited me. On the holidays, they would take me to their home.
He moved to the U.S. 5 years ago when he was a soccer player, but he started playing football at Midland Christian to stay active. Mason prays for his family every day, and his sisters stay in touch with him about his family in Ukraine. And now for a look at today's top headlines, shown here in real time with real viewers on CBS7.com. See all of these stories and more by downloading our app or visiting our website at CBS7.com. And still ahead, California lawmakers are calling on the state's insurance commissioner to set the fire insurance market straight. We've got more details on rates in your news across the nation next on CBS 7 News at 9. More and more insurance companies are now offering their services throughout the state of California, mainly because of the state's many wildfires. Andrew Hobner has more on what homeowners are currently facing as far as options, rates, and more.
The community of Forest Hill is one of many at the mercy of a wildfire and now subject to insurance problems.
The insurance companies are pulling out of vast areas of California, claiming there's too many fires. Well, there are big fires, no doubt about it. But for the last 2 years, there haven't been as many fires.
Congressman John Garamendi is one of 32 Democratic lawmakers that are concerned over the state's sustainable insurance strategy.
Our letter to Commissioner Laura is to use your power to analyze this market and to set it straight.
In communities like Forest Hill, rates have spiked and more risk has been assessed to other areas.
Do they need to be doubled and quadrupled as presently happens across the state? Do policies need to be canceled? If so, why?
Which has been the crux of the issue, one that CDI spokesman Michael Solar says can be alleviated.
Our timeline is urgent, and immediate to be making these changes. And so what you're going to see in the coming months, you're going to see the department approving insurance companies to offer discounts.
And the CDI disagrees with the assertion from watchdogs that the deal favors insurers.
I think what's clear from the meetings we've had with Californians across the state is that we need more tools, not fewer regulatory tools.
As both sides feel the heat from consumers.
32 members of Congress are being hammered by their constituents saying, what's going on here?
The CDI said help will be arriving soon in the form of new initiatives, while industry outlooks put that range between this year and 2026.
Well, the changes are on the way with this cold front. Also, a disturbance is going to bring some rain. We'll talk about all that and show you how long this cold snap is going to last. Up next.
Now, from the CBS7 First Alert Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
A big change in the forecast with this cold front arriving. Looks like early in the morning hours. Let's take a look at the weather makers. Here's what's steering that in. We have this big trough of low pressure. It's a little disturbance back up here across the north central U.S. Well, there's that trough. That's going to swing through. Behind it, a northwesterly flow in the upper levels is going to tap some colder air and spill it right into West Texas. But also we have this little dip down in here and a little disturbance riding up, and that's going to move across, and that's going to bring some lift. It's going to kick off some rain showers as the cold air starts to roll in tomorrow, and that's going to bring even a bigger change. So cool and wet, or chilly and wet, I should say, for your Thursday. Yes, I corrected myself. Tomorrow is Thursday. Let's take a look at the Texas view of the satellite and radar. Those clouds have thickened up a little bit, moving across and seeing the early part of that disturbance moving across north central portions of Chihuahua State. That's going to be rolling in across portions of West Texas again over the next 24 hours or so. There's a position of that front. We had some hot temperatures today. It's mild now as this front is starting to move down into the South Plains, and we can see that on the temperatures. A little bit of a contrast here with 51 in Amarillo, 61 in Lubbock, and still at 68 down towards the Permian Basin. Rest of the state rather mild from El Paso back in towards San Antonio and Houston, still hanging on to the mid-70s. Clouds increase. Here come the showers as that front looks to whip through after about midnight to 2 o'clock in the morning across the central Permian Basin and then make its way down to the Trans-Pecos. Scattered showers moving across. Areas of light to moderate rain hang around for the morning hours and continue tomorrow afternoon, but start to thin out a little bit across the areas as we'll see things start to clear up a little bit, at least when it comes to rain. How about amounts? Well, they look relatively light, but some pockets of 2/10 to 3/10 of an inch Maybe a little heavier down here in the mountain areas coming up for tomorrow afternoon and into the evening hours. So there's kind of two areas. We'll see the heavier rain, the mountain areas, and also across portions of the Concho Valley. And again, 2/10 to 3/10 of an inch across the Permian Basin. Not out of the question. Rest of tonight, here's what we're looking at. Again, seeing those clouds thicken up. A few showers by morning as that northeast wind kicks in, bringing in the colder air, and highs only around 52 tomorrow afternoon with some steady light rain in the forecast. Clears out on Friday, stays chilly though. And then we'll see things look rather nice for everything outdoors coming up for Veterans Day on Saturday. Sunday, a little cool, 64 degrees, but plenty of sun before another disturbance brings more clouds, some chilly conditions, and a little bit of rain to start next week.
With today's inflation rates, the price of everything has gone up except the price of turkey. Coming up in just a few minutes, we've got how you might just save some money this holiday season. That's next in your Consumer News. Great news for those in charge of cooking for the upcoming holiday. Turkey prices are going down just in time for Thanksgiving. The rare drop had us wondering what goes into the price of turkey. Jeff Wagner explains the many steps helping shoppers save.
Talking turkey can be a costly conversation, but the word on the bird this season,
I'm gonna get a butterball, you know it,
is far from foul, especially the price you pay at the store.
Turkey prices are down anywhere from 9 to 13%, according to a new report from Wells Fargo.
A report Dr. Michael Swanson helped research and write.
Minnesota produces 1 out of 4 turkeys in this country. You know, over 1 billion pounds in a year.
He says turkey farmers were optimistic this summer, adding 2 to 3% more birds into their barns in preparation for Thanksgiving.
Well, they all did it at the same time, and the wholesale prices have really cratered. They're down 30% from a year ago.
It's a simple case of supply and demand, leading to lower prices at the store, but that wasn't the only factor.
We know it's the demand, of course, but it's also the feed.
What goes into the price of a turkey?
You know, it's mostly the feed cost, and feed costs have been elevated for the last couple of years.
After feed costs, Swanson says it's the barn expenses, then labor to raise the hatchlings to a plump 25 pounds, and the shipping to get them to store shelves. That last factor dropped in costs as well. Refrigerated trucks are charging $3.30 per mile, down 50 cents from a year ago.
I think it has a lot to do with that bird flu.
While the bird flu continues to threaten the industry, it was more impactful on prices in 2022.
It was kind of a double hit last year. Fewer birds to start with, and then losing some of them was not very helpful for the supply.
It's expensive to be a farmer these days. It's not an easy life.
If there's any concern about higher prices, shop smart when it comes to Thanksgiving sides this year. Canned cranberries shot up in price 60%, while canned pumpkin is up 30%.
Whether the prices go up or down, does that impact how you shop for Thanksgiving?
No, it does not. I buy what I like, and because it's tradition.
Jeff Wagner, WCCO News.
The price of a bushel of corn right now is $4.70, down from about $6.50 a year ago. Dr. Swanson says that could trickle down to cheaper prices at the grocery store next Thanksgiving. And still ahead, do you want to get paid to make your bed every day? Then stick around. We'll tell you how you can make an extra buck while doing your chores when we return. Making your bed every day for a month could earn you $1,000. Shane Company is hosting a contest asking people to perform the daily ritual, then journal about how it's improved your life. The jeweler is encouraging contestants to take photos and vlog about it, and a winner will be selected on December 22nd. Sounds like we gotta start making our bed, Tom, and recording it.
There's always some type of contest to do things. I mean, I would make it if I got paid $1,000, but
I guess what are the odds?
But it's always one of those things though. They have these, you sign up for it, then it ends up you do what you're supposed to, but it ends up being some random drawing.
Yeah, and we don't. I don't know. We never get lucky enough to win, so
better just buy a lottery ticket and stick with it. Okay.
I agree. It's a good idea, though. Well, anyways, thanks for watching CBS7 First Alert News at 9 on the CW. We have more news coming up tonight on CBS7 News at 10.